he sent a drone over to the roof with his phone number, asking her out on a date.
Oh my goodness.
They had a Zoom date. It's very cute. And then he got himself one of these plastic bubble things.
Okay, so we are in this quarantine life situation. Hi, how are you doing? It's crazy times. So welcome to another episode of Off Air with Sisanie. And today I wanted to touch base on relationships and dating and navigating through all of that during this safer at home order that we are all under. It's nuts. It's insane. So I wanted to bring in my really good friend, Marni Battista, who is an expert in all this. She is a dating expert. Her website is datingwithdignity.com if you want to check that out. We're going to zoom in with her right now and get down to the bottom of all of these relationship questions that we have during this quarantine.
Marni Battista is here joining me off air with Sisanie, and you are a transformation leader, dating expert, relationship coach. You pretty much do it all when it comes to the relationship world. And what a crazy time we are in right now, right?
We are in such a crazy time. I mean, for those of us, and I'm sure you can relate, you're quarantined with your husband and your children. You're like, this is a lot of togetherness. And then for those people who are single, it's a lot of isolation, right? And a lot of Zoom. And so it is a crazy time.
I want to get into all that, but first, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, I got into a pretty serious ski accident at the end of February, and I fractured multiple bones in my sacrum. So I was sort of mentally in a space of, I'm not going anywhere. I had to deal with FOMO. And then 2 weeks later, the whole world was with me. Yeah. So I'm super pumped every day because I can put my pants on by myself right now. And this is exciting.
You're having your own personal milestones over there.
I am. I'm I got the go ahead to get back on the bike for 15 minutes and, a week. So anyway, yeah, I'm doing that. My 3 kids are all back in my house. So 2 of them are pretty much adults. That's been a whole, be careful what you wish for, empty nest situation.
Yeah.
But there's so many unexpected blessings. So we're good.
Of course. I mean, that is the silver lining, I think, throughout all of this is the fact that we are able to spend so much more time together with our loved ones and our family. But with that comes a lot of other challenges and I guess a frustration sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
If you were to look at this whole situation, I mean, what is there an opportunity? Is there an upside of dating during the social distancing when it comes to couples?
Well, actually, it's probably never been a better time to date if you're looking for a serious long-term partnership for a bunch of reasons. But the biggest one is it really has separated sort of the cream kind of coming to the top because people who weren't in it to win it, why bother? Mm-hmm. If you're just kind of looking for a hookup or something casual, it requires a lot, you're going to have to really put effort into it. People who are really wanting to make a connection are really in it. And there's a lot of creativity. There's the whole thing about going through a new experience with somebody when you're dating normally. And this is definitely new. That's creating a bond. So there's lots of different reasons. It's a great time to do it. Our clients are crushing it right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think about couples that maybe were in the early stages of their relationship months before this whole pandemic happened and where they're at now. And if they are stronger or if because they're social distancing, does that make it worse?
Well, actually, that's a whole conversation that's going on in some of our private Facebook groups is that it's become like politics. Mm-hmm. What is your definition of social distancing? So we have some clients who are my view is this and the person I'm dating is this. Or we had a client whose grandfather, she doesn't want him in a retirement home because he's going to be in his room instead of with his friends. So she brought him home. The boyfriend has an ex-wife. His kids are with the ex-wife. Yeah. She doesn't want to bring that into her home. So they went from seeing each other, 4 or 5 times a week to trying to figure out how are we going to do this and keep grandpa safe.
Right. I know. And that is one of the biggest battles I'm seeing with a lot of my friends who are in a divorce situation and having to trade off the kids back and forth. and they're just kind of doing it, like no matter what, like they're just still, it's not like they're going to not see their kids for months on end. So they're, I guess, taking the risk, if you want to call it that.
Well, yeah. And I think, it's a great opportunity to have, if you have the relationship with your ex, that you can have an expectations conversation. I'm really lucky. My ex and I sort of decided to have the same philosophy. However, he thought he might have COVID-19. And so my kids were kind of trapped over there for 3 weeks. Luckily, he was able to get a test. Luckily, it was negative. They came back. But I was like, okay, this is a moment of surrender. Like my kids just might be there for a long time, and that's just how it's going to be.
Right.
But there's an opportunity to have a conversation if you are lucky enough to have an ex and kind of come up with a bubble agreement.
Absolutely. And I think early on it was maybe like, oh, they stay with me or they stay with you. But now that this is looking like it's going to be months on end, it's very important to probably have that conversation sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. And come to some kind of agreement.
I want to get your take on FaceTime dates. Because I have a few friends, and it's funny because one of my girlfriends just texted me before I was on with you, and she was like, can you please ask her about FaceTime dating? Because I think I just had one last week, but I'm not sure. Because it's just so casual, and everyone's kind of already Zooming and FaceTiming all the time. And so what's your like take on that?
Well, so first of all, this is a really hot topic. In fact, I just did an interview on my show with our go-to how do you do virtual dating guy and an article. So look there for some specifics. But the bottom line is I like the idea of substituting that FaceTime date as if it were like that coffee date.
Okay.
It's cash, it's low key. Maybe it's like 30 minutes, 20 minutes at the very most. And then from that place, deciding if you want to have another date and then making it like an official date and using something like Zoom or Skype or something where you're not holding the phone. So
Right.
you can actually have a date. So we're telling our clients to make it a date, be, we call it drop the hanky, be flirty about it. Say, you know what, this is a great opportunity. I'm putting on a dress for you.
Yeah.
Like, we've had men, use a wine delivery app and like send a bottle of wine.
That's cute.
We've had clients, we have one client who's dating someone, he's in chef school. And so they had an online like cooking class. So we have this cute picture of both of them with their carbonara pasta that they made, him
Right.
In one location, her in the other. So it can be fun, but I would say be specific. This is a date. Like, let's have a date. Let's have a Zoom date.
Yeah, I'm seeing that there is a lot of increase in downloads when it came to dating apps. So people are swiping a lot more, and I guess matching with more people now, but they're not meeting up because of all of this. So they're just dating on the app. Like, what are the benefits of starting a relationship and dragging it out for that long just via technology and not actually physically seeing one another?
Well, so the benefit, I say the slower you go, the faster you get there. So there's a lot of ways we get distracted when we're dating in our regular sort of lifestyle, meaning there's chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So and that goes both ways. There's does this guy just want to get in my pants, or does he actually like me sort of thing, right? Or does she just like me for my money or my status, right? So there's that kind of goes away. And also you're able to talk without distraction. So even like a regular date, like let's go to a jazz club and listen to music, or let's go to a concert or a movie or something. Sometimes you can't even talk, right?
Yeah.
It's so loud. So this gives us an opportunity to actually create connection. There is the New York Times article. It's like 36 questions to fall in love. That's a great, like we have clients that are saying, let's pick 2 questions and do that for our date.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an opportunity to really connect and talk. We do have some clients who are doing and I'm totally neutral. You got to be comfortable doing 6-foot, hikes with masks. We have a really cute couple who did a selfie on their 3rd date. He was like behind in the background and they both had their masks on.
Oh my God.
And they were like, we're taking a picture because if this works out, what an awesome like 2nd date or 3rd date photo,
Yeah.
So, and then of course there's the famous Manhattan quarantine couple. The guy shows up in a bubble. Have you seen that video?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh. So this couple, they're, in New York, they're spending time on their roofs. So they waved, they had a connection. They smiled. He sent a drone over to the roof with his phone number, asking her out on a date.
Oh my goodness.
They had a Zoom date. It's very cute. And then he got himself one of these plastic bubble things, and he lived nearby, right? Because the roof was across, and he rolled himself over. She came out. He had flowers. And so they touched through the bubble, like the boy in the bubble.
Oh my
And so they're
God.
dating. They're dating. And so then some people are figuring out after things like that. So where have you been? Do you want to do a 14-day, like self-isolation? Do you want to quarantine together? So
Yeah.
there's lots of possibility. Dragging it out doesn't have to be. And if you do, there's lots of great long distance relationships that work when you know there's an end.
Right. Right. And I love that. I love the creativity that people are taking when it comes to dating in general. It kind of, my husband and I met, he was in San Diego, I was in LA, and we did if you want to call San Diego to LA long distance, we did that for 2 years. And it was a very slow start for us because, we could only see each other sometimes even once a month just based on our schedule. So I'm a firm believer in the slow process at the beginning because I truly think that is why our relationship was successful. Because up until him, I was always one of those girls that would just jump right in so quick and give all of myself and clingy. And it was just, I was forced to pump the brakes, even though I didn't want to at the time.
Yeah, it's like a forced boundary. So we all have to bring our most, grown-up selves to the game and take things slow. One thing I would definitely caution against, just like a real-time date, because we had a client who totally was like, oh my God, it was so amazing. And then they were on Zoom or FaceTime for 4.5 hours and then it's too much. So do a slow build. Say, do you want to have our next date? Let's get on for an hour. Or 45 minutes. I've seen the meme that's Zoom has a 45-minute limit for a reason. Use it if it's free,
It's true, right? Because the free version does have that. That's so funny. And I think that is a 45-minute Zoom date is all you need, especially at the very begining.
Yeah.
I want to talk about couples. We talked about it at the beginning a little bit because I'm married. We have kids. Whether you're just, I have a friend who's newlywed, she just got married 6 months ago. So this is essentially her honeymoon stage and they're quarantined together. What advice do you have for separating that home work environment that we're all living in and trying to create some sort of normalcy between each other?
Well, I think, one of the best things is we call it, and it's based on this work by John Gottman, is the stress reducing conversation. And so having, you could do it on the couch, you could have it on a glass of wine, if you can walk in your neighborhood, 10 minutes and say, this is the end of the workday. And it's a stress reducing conversation. So the objective is you just vent for 10 minutes. And he listens. He doesn't have to fix it, which we don't like when sometimes they just want to give us advice. And he does the same, and you just listen, and you just sort of bleh, get it out. And then you go about your day. So I would do that regularly and then plan and have a conversation let's have a date. So my husband and I, my kids went to their dad's, thank God, on Sunday. Go. And we were let's get naked. Let's have a date. And I was this has got to be a date. So we made it romantic and we just had a couple of hours. So if you have your kids, do that when they're sleeping. If you don't, then just say let's have a date. Let's call it a date. Let's light candles. Freaking, I don't care if it's in the bathtub.
Right.
On the episode of Friends where I think it's Chandler's taking lots of baths, but just whatever it is, just call it that and create that time and have the stress reducing conversation because each party needs to vent and then be empathetic.
Yeah, that's really, really good advice.
I think the best part of it is when you have that person to be with. This is, and I had my accident. I was so this is that whole sickness and health thing I agreed to.
Right.
In a way, it's a version of that. And so, you have to trust each other and you're really living into your commitment during these times to be there for each other. And I would also say, if your partner is hypervigilant or panicked or spending more time in the news or whatever it is, empathy is probably the most important skill we can all have for each other right now. We don't know what it's like to be that person. So an extra dose of empathy.
I love it so much. Marni Battista, thank you so much for stopping by and Zooming with us. Datingwithdignity.com is your website. And if you are interested or have any questions for Marni, you can definitely hit her up right there. Thank you. Take care of yourself, okay?
You too. Shelter in peace.
Thanks. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
She is the absolute best. I hope that was very informative for you. It was for me. And if you want more information, you can actually check out her podcast. We're going to put all the links below in this video, including 6 reasons why dating somebody during this whole social distancing is actually a really great time to meet a quality guy. So that's all down below in the links. Check them out. And until next time.